This is Faith Under Fire. We take you straight to the front lines of religious battlegrounds. I'm your host, Sarah Harnisch. With me today, Communio founder and president, J.P. DeGance. We're talking cohabitation before marriage. At Communio, you looked at 40 years of data to see what moves the needle on marital health, and you found that couples who skip cohabitation and premarital sex see a 60 to 80% lower divorce rate. Let's break it down.
Yeah, look, the reality is cohabitation and premarital sex is directly related to higher divorce rates, less marital success. In fact, cohabitation is not only dramatically increases the likelihood that you'll divorce, but actually those who cohabitate for a long period of time, if they break up that cohabitation and then later get married and do everything the right way later, what they find is those marriages have the same divorce rate of second marriages, meaning they're much more likely to end in divorce. Cohabitation appears to have a long-term impact on the marriage skill of commitment, and it diminishes the likelihood of a person committing to anybody, even those they don't cohabitate with in the future.
Can you give me some data? What are some hard numbers that you found through the study?
Yeah, we're seeing upwards of 60% plus higher rates of divorce amongst those who cohabitate before marriage than those who don't. And it goes up praying together as a couple, have a huge impact getting to church regularly as a couple, and then, of course, not cohabitating and not engaging in premarital sex as a couple.
In the Fox News report, they spoke with a priest in Florida who said that 70% of couples that were coming to premarital counseling were already living together. Did you find that's the case in your study, that it was that high?
Yeah, well, if I recall, the priest who shared that said that's been an improvement if you look back over the last decade. And so it's very common, but I can say there's a large minority of Christian couples who are coming and showing up for marriage that are engaging and following the right sequence here. So it's a larger and larger minority, and we hope to see this tip where it becomes the norm to enter marriage the right way.
It would seem that the answer is very simple. Have self-control and wait to live together, even if it costs you more financially, which is the big thing I hear.
If money's an issue, get a roommate. There's different ways that you can share the bills. The reality is when we cohabitate, imagine a rowboat. You're jumping in the boat. Each person has a leg out of the boat. When those two folks are trying to paddle that boat, it's harder to navigate it. The boat's less stable because both people have a foot out and they want to be able to jump out at any given moment. By entering marriage the right way, you're getting in with both feet. You never create the mental expectation that you might jump out of the boat. Both people are going on the adventure together. The boat can move faster, it's easier to navigate, and you can get to where you're going safer.
The other argument I hear for cohabitation is, well, I've got to get to know them to know whether or not I want to spend my lifetime with them. What would you say to that?
Yeah, the reality is the data shows the opposite. Cohabiting contributes to a number of bad norms. You're engaging in a situation, women in particular, they're more likely to be victims of violence. One of the reasons for that is a married guy is more likely to function and behave like a protector, and married women are less likely to engage in more risky behavior than their cohabiting counterparts, right? So there's a number of reasons for that. Wendy Wang has a great piece out in the Washington Post talking about the unique benefits of security for women that come from marriage, that married women are way more likely to live a life of safety in an increasingly hostile world where violent crime is more and more prevalent in a lot of our cities and metro areas.
What can you tell the young person or the older person sitting there who's in a serious relationship on waiting?
Yeah. Look, your no today is going to lead to a much, much better yes tomorrow. When we enter the relationship the right way, trust, rely, commit, touch, moving from left to right. I never trust somebody more than I know them. I never rely on somebody more than I trust them. I never commit to somebody more than I rely on them. And I never move to sexual touch until I'm fully committed. The reality is what the world is telling our young people is that they should move quickly to sexual touch. And the fact is there's really powerful brain chemicals that exist that God's given us because when we enter sexual touch, that's intended to be a lifelong partnership. And those brain chemicals create powerful bonding dynamics that cause us to trust and rely on somebody when we don't yet know them and we're not yet committed to them. When our young people say no right now, they're allowing themselves to enter into a human relationship in the way that God designed, that's healthy, that doesn't release these powerful brain chemicals of bonding when we're not yet ready to be bonded with that person.
Learn more at communio.org.